Hi, second graders. We are starting a brand new unit in math this week, which I'm pretty excited about.
Money!
Money!
Money, money, money!
Who doesn't like money?
Money!
What would you do if you didn't know how to count money?
Oh man, I guess I would just use my credit card.
But what would you do if you want to go to Target and you didn't know how much money you had?
I just cross my fingers and hope that it goes through.
Second graders, that's not a good way to live your life. You
It's
need
not?
to know how to count money. Do not
Okay,
know.
okay. You need to know how to count money. It is important.
It's super
Yes.
important. And we're
Okay.
going to start with our coins. Now, you know what's great about coins?
What?
They have some familiarity with coins already because we do our days of the week in coins
You're right.
every single day.
So
which
you
is
guys
pretty cool.
you have some experience. This shouldn't be brand new to you.
So these should look super familiar, but we're going to talk about them in a little bit more depth as we get into our video. This piece of paper right here is separate. It is not a part of your packet, but it is in your folder. We want you to keep this. This is a great chart that if you have a desk area or a little learning center at home or even the kitchen refrigerator, keep this out and I want you to look at it all the time, but you do not need to send it back, okay? All right, can you tell us what the first coin is that we need to know?
Oh yeah. Even though it looks black and white on here, it's actually copper, like a gold color, and it's the penny.
All right, so a penny is going to be worth just 1 cent. And on the front, we have a picture of one of our presidents, which is Abraham Lincoln. And on the back, we have the Lincoln Memorial. It's a little building. But the penny is really obvious mostly because it's a different color than all of the other coins. And of course, it's worth 1 cent. All right, how about the next one?
The next one is a nickel.
All right, now the nickel is worth 5 cents. And what is tricky about the nickel is that it's silver, just like the next few coins we're going to talk about, and it's actually larger than a coin that has a smaller value. So we need to be careful. It's a little bit thicker, and we will be able to identify that. Let's get into the next coin.
The next coin is a dime, which is a small silver one worth 10 cents.
You got it. So I
Even
don't
though
know if
it's
these will all-
smaller than the nickel, it's
Here.
worth more change. It's worth more cents.
Yeah, so the dime is actually the smallest coin, if you were holding it in your hand, that we have.
It's even
In our
smaller
currency.
than a penny.
It is.
Yeah.
Yet it's worth more than the nickel and the penny.
Yeah.
So we will keep practicing, don't worry. All right, the last coin that we're going to go over today for our picture is,
The quarter.
all right, and the quarter is the largest coin that we are going to be discussing today. And it has the largest value. So a quarter is worth 25 cents. Now, again, some of these coins get tricky because our quarters used to all have an eagle on the back
Yeah.
of them. But in the last, I don't know, maybe, it's been a while.
Yeah, 5 to 10 years.
I think
I'm
even
not sure.
more, maybe even more, like
Oh.
15 years or something.
Yeah.
It's been a while. They've actually been changing the quarter to recognize all the different states
Yeah.
that we have. And so some of the coins are going to have images of California on the back or New York State.
Yeah.
But you will recognize the quarter as being the largest coin that we talk about.
Yeah.
Now there are other coins you're going to notice on the chart. There is something called a $50. We are not going to be worrying about that, but if you ever see it or you want to know, there is a coin that is called the $50. That's a large silver coin worth 50 cents. There's even another coin that you might have seen, which is the dollar coin.
Yeah.
It's not as common. It's a gold coin and it's worth $1. However, these are the 4 that we are mostly going to be working with in second grade.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move on to our activity for the day, which is where we're going to learn a little bit more about these coins. You can take this chart and move it off to the side and just keep it in a safe location. All right. Another page that you have in your packet is going to be, there you go, is going to be a page that looks like this. It looks kind of silly, but we're going to turn it into something.
Oh.
All right. So do you want to give me some directions of folding and cutting
Oh yeah.
while I do that? Maybe I can
Definitely.
move these over just a little bitski. All
All
right.
right. So what you're gonna want to do, Miss Marquardt,
Yeah.
is take that paper and fold it in half.
Okay.
And the side that says I am a blank is what you want on the front top. So just like Miss Marquardt's doing, if you flip this over, you'll see that there's other words on the inside of it, but the one that says I am a blank is the top and the front of what we want when we fold it over.
So we want a nice skinny, I call it a hot dog fold.
Hot dog fold.
All
yeah.
right.
All right, so now what you're going to do is take a pair of scissors and you're going to cut along each of these lines, only on the top though. You're not going to cut through both pieces.
Ooh.
So I would lift the top flap up. Yeah, just lift the top flap and cut along the line. Yeah, right there. Don't cut on the underneath flap though, just the top flap, and stop when you get to the top. So that, yeah, it makes a little flap that opens and closes.
Oh, okay. So I want to do that to all of these.
Yeah. You do.
I get it, because if I cut through the bottom,
It's going to be kind of crazy.
I'd probably have 4 pieces. We don't
Yeah,
want
you
that.
cut it all apart and it wouldn't be a cool little book that you could refer to. Good job.
All right.
All right,
awesome.
now let's go through how to fill this out. So I'm going to tell you what to do. Maybe you can push it over a little bit more when you get a second.
Maybe when I get a pen. Yeah.
So the first one, I'm going to tell you what to write, okay? You can see that this is the only one of the president's heads that's facing right. All the other guys face left. That's one distinction.
Just a little bigger.
There you go. And this is the penny. So you're going to write, I am a penny. You're going to write the word penny. Good job. And then you're going to lift the flap open. And we're going to fill out the inside. I am worth 1 cent. Good job.
Awesome.
And maybe you can even show them how to write it the other way. A $sign, 0.01. If you want to add a little extra work in there. Because sometimes you'll see 1 cent written with the cent sign at the end, and sometimes you'll see it written like this. And it's just kind of cool to know both ways, right? All right, let's move over to, ooh, these are not in order.
They are
Tricky. So this one, you can see that it's smaller than the other two. And another thing that I noticed when I am trying to differentiate between these 3 silver coins is that if I look at their heads, I know that the biggest one is the quarter. But if I'm trying to figure out the difference between the dime and the nickel, one thing I usually pay attention to is that the dime doesn't have a collar of the shirt. He's not wearing a shirt in the picture, it's just his neck and head. So this is the dime, D-I-M-E. And he doesn't have a ponytail either. He has short hair.
It does.
Go ahead and open it up. The dime is worth 10 cents. So she's going to write the 10 with the cent sign, and then the $sign, 0.10. There's the second way to write 10 cents. Awesome. Now we're going to go over to the third one, which again, these are not in order of value. This is our nickel. And the nickel is just a little bit smaller than the quarter. And he has a collared shirt on, and he's worth 5 cents. So when you open it up, you're going to say, I am worth 5 cents. And then that is also $sign, 0.05. Doing great, Miss Marquardt.
Thank you. You're a good teacher.
Thanks. And our last one is the biggest silver coin that we're going to talk about, which is the quarter. I am a quarter. And we're going to open that guy up. And that's President Washington for you. He is worth 25 cents. And the other way to write that is $sign, 0.25. So this is another thing you're not going to turn in. This is just a way for you to practice memorizing which coins are worth which value. So you can you can quiz yourself with this. You can even have a brother, sister, adult at home quiz you, anybody, a friend. So use this. Don't throw it away. And don't turn it in either. All right, the next thing we want to talk about, notice at the top, this is also not part of your packet. It's an additional loose paper in your folder. It says challenge optional. Optional means you do not have to do it if you don't want to. But if you want a 4 on your packet this week, this has to be done. Do you want to go ahead and explain to them what this is?
Absolutely. So the challenge this week is actually a little bit like a scavenger hunt, and it's kind of fun. In order to do the activity, you are going to need to ask a grown-up at home for a penny, a nickel, a dime, and a quarter. A real one, not play money. It has to be an actual real coin. So they might need to go find their change jar or a junk drawer, maybe their pocket, to see if they can help you find one of each of these coins. If you have a magnifying glass at home, you are welcome to use that. But I tend to find that second graders have pretty good vision. And sometimes they can see things better than grown-ups can.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a magnifying glass, you can totally still do this activity without it. You do not have to have it.
Not necessary.
And what you're going to do for each of the coins is you are going to try to find on the coin the answer to the questions that are here. So for example, for the penny, we want you to see if you can find where the date is and tell us the date that's on your coin. Find where it says 1 cent. Is it on the front? Is it on the back? Is it on the side? I don't know. What letter is under the year? Sometimes coins have little letters underneath that tell you where they were made. What is on the back of your coin? What is written above the building? What color is the coin? So there are all different questions for each of the coins that you can answer. Now, something I want to mention. Remember how I told you that some of the quarters have been created differently, and over time some of the looks of the coins have changed? Our paper hasn't.
Yeah.
So if you get to a question where you're like, wait a second, this doesn't make sense, you might want to try to ask a grown-up at home for the older version of that coin, which I'm sure they have lying around.
Yeah. And if they don't, it's not the end of the world. If there's a question that is impossible for you to answer because you don't have the right coin, leave it blank. And we're not gonna like say this doesn't count because you missed one question. It's okay.
Yeah, if you do most of it, absolutely, you're still going to get that 4 anyway. Again, it's a challenge because it's a little bit tricky, and it's completely optional. You do not have to do it. It's just something fun that lets you discover a little bit more about coins if you're interested. I think that's it. That was a lot, but it was a great first day to introduce money, and we're excited to keep learning.